Hey viewers and viewers, my name is General Red Strategist and welcome to ChatGPT, which me and Phil haven't done in a while, isn't that right, Phil?
Let's see some scenarios, interesting things. I've had a play myself with ChatGPT, and it just doesn't fail to come up with a response, and it always comes up with a useful response. Unlike the chat bots that we used to have a go,
Yeah.
where they would just come up, they wouldn't do anything.
No, it was
Um,
nonsense, wasn't it?
it was, I know, but this is fantastic. I've had so much fun having to play around on my own with it, just with the various scenarios. Like something mundane is like, popped crisps. Like, how are they made? And it went through
Told you.
in detail. Yeah,
It gives you
um,
an answer. Exactly. There you go.
it's absolutely fantastic, and it's still recent. Its data banks, I believe, are from January. It says January 2022, so it's 2 years old data banks, but they're still decent.
Yeah.
I would say. So that just wants me to get me started with what happens if scenario.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think of something that I've always been curious about. Why don't we ask ChatGPT what happens if you were to accidentally leave your fridge open?
Okay. I mean, very simple one, but what happens if you accidentally leave your fridge open?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what he says. Leaving your fridge open can lead to several consequences. One, food spoilage. The most immediate issue is that the food inside the fridge will start to spoil at a faster rate due to increased temperature, of course.
Yeah,
Energy
that makes sense.
waste. Open fridge will work harder to maintain temperature, leading to increased and he said enemy consumption, energy consumption even.
Yeah.
Temperature fluctuations, depending on how long it remains open, the ambient temperature of the room, internal temperature of the fridge can rise significantly.
Yeah,
Ice build-up, if it's left open, moisture from the air can condense and lead to excessive ice build-up on the cooling coils and other surfaces. This can affect the efficiency of the appliance and may require manual defrosting. To mitigate these issues, it's essential to promptly close the fridge door if you notice it's been left open accidentally. Check the
Yeah.
temperature, and discard any perishable items.
That's yeah, it's useful to know because you see straight away it comes up with the response of just something like that. Could have I will admit there was a moment where I got stuff out for lunch, like bits of salad and ham and cheese and that, and I made a sandwich, and then I went to sit down just watch YouTube, and when I came back to throw everything in the bin, oh, the fridge door was open.
Whoops.
Yeah, look, it was in like half an hour. I think it starts to become bad if you've left it open for an hour or so.
I have to
That's
watch
when-
out. I've said this before with my fridge in my kitchen because it's like an integrated sort of fridge freezer and it's like built in. But the door on it, you actually have to make sure it's shut when you've opened
Yeah.
it because you can't just some fridges if you just let go of the door it'll sort of actually close itself.
Yeah.
But mine doesn't do that, so you actually have to make sure it's shut properly. But yeah, I remember when I moved in here, I had a couple of occasions where I left it open for a couple of minutes by accident, but luckily not for very long, and it was fine.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. That's what because I couldn't believe when I saw. I was like, oh god, I left it open. It's like one of those things.
Indeed. Yeah. Reminds me of, sorry, you know what it's time for, Phil? It's time for a Simpsons reference.
Oh,
You always love 'em.
which Simpsons reference we're going with here?
I can't remember exactly what the title of the episode was or what exactly kind of else happened in it, but there was an episode of Simpsons, wasn't there, where it started off where Springfield was in the middle of a heat wave, and basically Homer and Bart thought it would be a good idea to set up a tent facing the fridge, like connected to the fridge door, and have the fridge door open so it refrigerates the inside of the tent. And of course
Oh.
it causes the fridge motor to burn out.
Yeah. This is why you've got to keep it closed because not like it says there, not just the temperatures, but you're wasting energy.
Oh, I remember which episode it was now. So we're not title number. It's the one. It's the one where they get a pool in the backyard, and then the whole neighbourhood loves it, and everyone is coming to the pool. But then Bart, I think, falls out of his treehouse and breaks his leg, and can't go in the pool as a result.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I just thought, why don't you give ChatGPT a vague reference of a Simpson episode
Okay.
and see if it works out which Simpsons episode it might be?
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
So
see then.
maybe that one. Just try and be vague with that description. Just say
Okay.
one with a pool in the garden, or
Let's see which Simpsons episode started with. Hang on. No, I'll say Springfield in the middle of a summer heat wave, something like that.
okay.
Let's see if it can name it. The episode you're referring to is The Springfield Files, which is the 10th episode of the 8th season, originally aired on January 12th, 1997. In this episode, Springfield is experiencing a heatwave which sets the stage for its fall, including encounters with a mysterious alien creature. That didn't happen in the episode I'm thinking of. I don't know if it got that.
It might have done.
The episode I remember I don't think it had an alien in it. I remember it was something like Bart breaks his leg, after trying to jump from his treehouse into the pool. As a result, can't use the pool at all. Ends up basically in his bedroom. Lisa, I think, gets him a telescope.
Oh God, yes, I remember that one. He falls off the roof. Yeah, but let's think about it this way: the amount of Simpsons episodes there's probably multiple episodes with a heat wave in it.
Yeah, probably.
Because I don't understand how Matt Groening can think of all these episodes.
I wonder though, if I tell it that it's got the wrong one, it might be able to maybe home in and see if it can identify another one.
Right, that could be feasible. The episode I was thinking of.
Can you think of any others? Let's see, can it get it? Certainly, another episode that starts with Springfield in the midst of summer here is Homer's Odyssey, third episode of the first season of Simpsons, originally aired on January 21st, 1990. In this episode, Springfield is suffering from a heat wave. Homer decides to buy an air conditioner, leading to various misadventures. Okay, not the one again I'm thinking of, but okay, actually, yeah, I think my description maybe was very vague then, too vague for it to really.
But like I said, I thought there would be quite a few episodes where there are heat waves.
Indeed.
Because there's the amount of episodes there were, and God only knows how many seasons they're up to now.
Yeah. In fact, I've got a more refined prompt I can actually give it, and we'll see if we can get it. So, because I remember the episode. Once Bart gets obviously the telescope, I think he sees Flanders through the window screaming about something and then becomes convinced that Flanders has murdered Maude, but then it later turns out that's not actually what's happened. So hang on.
Okay.
If I give it maybe an extra clue, so which Simpsons episode started with Springfield in the middle of a summer heat wave and also features Ned Flanders screaming? Let's see if it gets it from that. It might do. It just says, I see what you're getting at. You're referring to the episode Hurricane Neddy. Okay, right. No, it's gone off onto another one. Okay, that's not enough. Okay, well, I don't think it's going to get the one that I'm thinking of at this rate, but yeah. I think I'd probably have to keep giving it little clues. Okay.
Yeah.
So, which Simpsons episode features a heat wave, Bart getting his leg in a cast, and Ned Flanders, screaming?
There was an episode where wasn't there an episode where Ned finally lost it?
Yes, that was the Hurricane Neddy, the one it just mentioned, where basically, his house gets blown down. It's just like one thing after another, and eventually he just stresses out and absolutely loses it and has a meltdown. That scene in that episode where he has a meltdown is probably one of my favourite Simpsons moments ever, just because of the sheer wit that Ned displays when he's insulting everybody. It's so good.
Yeah, it is so good.
Yeah, okay, let's see if we can get at this. The episode referring to is Bart of Darkness, first episode of 6th season of Simpsons, originally aired on September 4th, 1994. In this episode, Springfield experiences a heat wave, Bart breaks his leg and ends up in a cast, and Flanders screams after his ski lift crashes? I don't remember a ski lift.
Oh, that's an interesting episode. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
look,
maybe...
it just goes to show you there are quite a lot of episodes, aren't there? It's just amazing how. I wonder how if it's still going strong today.
Well, I think this was. I don't know. I haven't actually kept up to date with it.
Ask ChatGPT how many current seasons of The Simpsons there are.
How many current seasons of The Simpsons?
Yeah, this will be January 2022 because there's probably many more.
As of my last update in January 2022, Simpsons had aired 32 seasons. However, new seasons could have been released since then. You might want to check. Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense.
At least 32 Phil is the answer to that.
That's of 2022.
Yeah.
So God only knows how many more there are going to be right now.
Yeah, it could be like 34 or 5 or something.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's just crazy, and obviously they're constantly thinking up ideas and things like that.
I always said to you, I think before, that for me, the golden age of The Simpsons was probably sort of in the 1990s when it was kind of at its sort of funniest, and it just had a lot of memorable episodes. It felt like as it got through the 2000s that it started to sort of drop off in quality.
Yeah, there were some good. I did like the Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah.
They're always good. The Treehouse of Horror episodes.
Yeah, I think an episode that I always do remember as being hilarious. It was a 1990s one. It was the one where Homer gets drunk at Moe's bar, which obviously doesn't really refine it down because there's a lot of episodes where that happens, but he leaves it. I think he then gets lost in the woods and he gets convinced that he sees an alien, but then it later turns out it's actually Mr. Burns.
Oh yes, yeah, that's
a funny one. I just remember that being hilarious. Yeah. Ever asked you who's your favourite Simpsons character, Phil?
Ooh. Oh God. That is a tough question.
Yeah, it is.
I must admit, Apu.
Apu,
I do like Apu, especially the fact where everyone can't pronounce his last name, and then he says it fluidly, and he's like, I don't understand why everyone gets it wrong.
Yeah, I have a few.
I think it's oh God, I'm gonna give it a go. Apu Nasahapapetilon.
Nearly.
Yeah.
Is it not like Nahasapima Petalon or something like that?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it?
If I had to pick some favourite Simpsons characters of my own, there's probably several ones I'd go for. Just purely on the basis of that Hurricane Neddy scene I mentioned a moment ago, Ned Flanders probably actually would be a favourite, because I think he sometimes does have some great episodes. Especially the one where him and Homer go to Las Vegas and get drunk and marry a couple of floozies.
Oh yeah.
One.
I think once you mentioned Fat Tony.
Fat Tony, yeah, not just Fat Tony, but there's what's he called? In that sort of circle of like mafia characters around Fat Tony, there was this one joke character they did one time, but then they started bringing him back a little bit. What was he called? Johnny Tightlips, that's what he was called. He was a joke in that basically he was a gangster, like Italian American mobster or whatever he was, but he you could never ask him a straight question because he would never give you an answer, and it'd be like saying,
sounds to me like a politician.
Indeed, but it was all sort of like funny because they'd be wandering down the street and then someone would shoot at them, and it'd be like, Johnny Tightlips, can you see the shooter? And he'd be like, I see a lot of things.
Yes. God,
it's just like getting any information out of him is really hard.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just gulping tea down there. Awkward pause.
Just think of another question
I
can ask. What about this would be an interesting question. What has been one of Boris Johnson's biggest blunders?
Oh God! Right, okay. One of
ChatGPT
Boris Johnson's biggest blunders. Yeah, not to date the video, but we're actually recording this whilst Boris Johnson is still Prime Minister, so it's a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so right in the thick of COVID as well.
Indeed.
Yes. Okay.
Definitely. Something went wrong. If this issue persists, please contact us. There was an error generator on, so let me just try regenerate.
Yeah.
There we go. That was odd.
No.
One of Boris Johnson's notable blunders was his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Critics argue that his government's initial response was slow and insufficient, resulting in a higher death toll and a long-lasting impact on public health and the economy. There were controversies surrounding decisions such as delaying lockdown measures, shortages of PPE for healthcare workers, issues with the test and trace system. Additionally, Johnson himself contracted COVID-19 and was hospitalised. Yes, that happened.
Yeah, I thought it might bring up that one. Because that was quite. Yeah, that's quite a bad blunder. That. I mean, the way. But mind you, there were some other countries that didn't really handle it well either. So. But I suppose he was trying with things and throwing in lockdowns and things. But then you had the issues with Partygate.
Oh God, yes, that.
And his others like Dominic Cummings and Matt Hancock. Yeah, all just his inner circle, you could say. We're all just not doing things. One rule for all, one rule for me, another rule for others.
Yes.
No.
Indeed, it got very controversial and all that, and it's funny because obviously when the COVID lockdown sort of started, I think I can remember in like our Surrey Being Hunted episode, us sort of talking, saying, we're sympathetic in that, this is a horrible sort of situation for any leader to have to face, and there's kind of no sort of real easy answer to it. But it's interesting because, looking on now, a couple of years later on from there, we are very much, I think, of that sort of opinion that he really mishandled it.
Yeah, he did. For more information on like that, go and visit the episode called Lessons from the Pandemic.
Yes,
that's the one where we had a chat about that and on things about where we're talking about what we learned from there. Let's go the opposite way. What is one of Boris Johnson's greatest moments?
Greatest moments.
Yes, so we'll have a look in the opposite direction. Just to be
Yes.
fair, to be civil,
Then again,
we'll look at both sides.
I feel like great moments with Boris Johnson could also refer to hilarious moments where he was the butt of a bit of a joke, but yeah.
Yeah, it's always funny. His bumbling ways.
Notable achievements: successful campaign to become Mayor of London in 2008. During his 2 terms in office, 2008 to 16, Johnson implemented various initiatives and projects aimed at improving transportation, housing and the environment in London. Leadership during the 2012 London Olympics was widely praised, as the event was considered a major success. I'll be honest though, I wouldn't say the success of the London Olympics was down to Boris though. It was down probably to, Danny Boyle with the opening ceremony and everyone who was involved in that, and just, down to obviously the management of it.
It was a good opening ceremony. Yeah,
it was.
Oh, talking about that, we've obviously got the Paris Olympics coming up very soon. So good to see what the opening ceremony that's going to be like. How France are going to treat that. But that'll be very interesting to see. And then see it again, because obviously there's one new sport being introduced, breakdancing.
Yeah.
Which will be curious to see how that goes. But we won't have to wait ages to watch the events. Oh, thank God, because the past few times it's been because obviously France is only 1 hour ahead. Like the past time, last time it was Tokyo, and Tokyo are like 6 hours ahead of us. And then before that it was Rio, and they're like 6 hours behind us. So it's like, it was difficult to watch it, but thank God we've got a place that's only 1 hour ahead. Although in 2028 it's going to be in Los Angeles. So back to,
behind again.
Yeah, and that's really far behind because it's right on the Californian west coastline there.
Yeah.
So, but they're introducing new sports in that, cricket and squash.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Squash
I
might
believe,
be quite interesting.
which my
to
dad
watch.
is so.
Oh yeah, he's.
My dad is so fun because they're his favourite sports, squash and cricket. My dad absolutely loves. He plays squash as well, so he was ecstatic when he found out about those. They're going. Well, cricket's coming back, and squash is entirely new.
Yeah. There you go.
So that'll be interesting in 2028. But I'm looking for. I always look forward to the Olympics. I'm a big Olympics fan.
It is.
So it'll be interesting to see how the Paris ones.
Yeah, how they actually handle and all that.
Very soon.
Indeed.
Who's the current? Oh God, who's the current president of France?
Yeah, it's Emmanuel Macron.
It's still Macron.
It's still Macron. Yeah, he's been there for a while. Indeed.
He has, hasn't he? Yeah.
And prior to him, it was Francois Hollande. And prior to him, it was Nicolas Sarkozy. See?
Yeah, they've had a few.
Indeed.
Still better than our prime ministers.
Yes. Though some of our French viewers may well debate that. Who knows? They may well
Oh yeah, there could be.
Who knows? Well, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't think you can do much worse than Liz Truss, for example. But yeah, I say that, but then again, there's always going to be someone who comes along and proves me wrong. Okay. I'm thinking, Phil, I might ask it a riddle, see if it can do a riddle, Phil.
A riddle? Right.
Well, sort of like a brain teaser kind of thing. So, I'm going to give you the following brain teaser. So, bear with me, this might take a second for me to type out. So, you...
What brain teasers don't mind.
Yeah. So, you are standing on a bridge, looking down at a river. A boat full of people is approaching the bridge. It goes under one side and disappears from sight. You cross the bridge to watch the boat as it emerges from under the other side. However, when the boat emerges, there is not a single person on board. Why is this?
Because they're all married.
Yep, that's the answer. Let's see if it gets the answer.
I've seen that riddle plenty of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, I'm smart, me.
Classic riddle, answer lies in the wording of the riddle. The boat is full of people, implying that the people are on the deck of the boat, visible to someone standing on the bridge. However, as the boat goes under the bridge, people on the boat duck or lie down, thus disappearing from sight. No. It didn't get it. Didn't get it. No. This is something though that's interesting though about AI. I think, Phil, because obviously that riddle there kind of depends on, obviously, a single word having multiple meanings. So in that case, single could either refer to numbers or it refers, like you say, to marriage, marital status. And it's sometimes interesting with AI how it can sometimes still struggle a bit with that kind of thing where a word maybe has multiple meanings. So yeah, it didn't quite get that, but there you go.
What about this one? I want to get this one. This is a very simple one, but it's so the red house is made of red bricks.
Ah.
The house is made of yellow bricks. The blue house is made of blue bricks. What is the green house made of?
Okay, the house is made of yellow bricks. The blue house is made of blue bricks. What is the green house made of? Now, I've kind of spelt greenhouse as like two separate words there, so do you think I should spell it as one?
See what it says.
Yeah, okay. The answer to the riddle is often a bit of a twist. The greenhouse is typically made of glass. This riddle plays on the expectation, that each house is made of bricks of the corresponding colour. There you go. It got it.
Yeah,
it knows that one.
Yeah, that was quite an easy.
Aye, that one got that one just fine there, Phil. Pretty good. Now I'm thinking, Phil. I'm thinking, which I know is surprising for me. Sorry, was that a bit of a self-burn then?
What about what is something that is as light as air, yet the strongest man cannot hold it?
Strongest man cannot hold it. Okay, and tell us the answer, Phil, so we know.
Your breath.
Breath. Light as air is breath. There you go. It got it.
Yeah.
Good.
That's a clever little one. That one.
Now, Phil, as is always tradition with these ChatGPT episodes, do you think it's story time?
Oh God, it's story time. Yes. How could we forget about the story? So we on the count of three, we'll come up with a random character. It could be from anything. It could be from a book. It could be from a film. It could be from a video game. It can be from a board game if you wanted to. It could be from anyone in your walk of life that you've seen on the street.
Yeah. Okay. Shall I do a countdown and we'll sort of say just like the first character we can think of straight away? Okay. So on three, 2, 1. Homer Simpson.
Man.
Oh, okay. Homer Simpson and the Monopoly Man. Okay.
He's actually got a name, hasn't he?
Does he actually have a name? He probably does, doesn't he? Yeah.
I can't remember what his name is, but there's our two characters.
Okay. So what sort of genre story should we ask it
to
write?
We've done comedy, we've done romance, I think we've done action adventure.
I think we've done horror as well, haven't we?
We've done horror.
Yeah. What about...
I'm just thinking, what other categories have you got?
A detective story? Something like that? Mystery solving? Yeah. Okay, let's do... let's say, please write me a detective story featuring Homer Simpson and the Monopoly Man. Here we go.
This is going to be funny.
Let's have a look at what this says then. Title: The Case of the Missing Donuts, Phil.
Okay.
And I like also, by the way, it started with a sweltering summer day. It maintained the heat wave that we were talking about earlier.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Maybe there's a bit of remembrance happening there.
Yes, memory. It was a sweltering summer day in Springfield, and Homer Simpson found himself on his usual mission, searching for donuts. As he strolled down the street, he noticed a commotion outside the Springfield Bank. Curious Homer waddled over to investigate. There he saw Chief Wiggum and his team of bumbling officers milling around, scratching their heads. "What's going on, Chief?" Homer inquired. I'm not going to try doing actual Simpsons voices. Wiggum turned to Homer with a puzzled expression. "Homer, we've got a real head-scratcher on our hands. The Springfield Bank has been robbed, but get this. The only thing missing is a giant pile of donuts from the bank's vault." Homer's eyes widened in shock. Donuts? Oh no, this is a serious crime. Just then, a familiar figure waddled over, dressed in a dapper suit with a top hat and monocle. It was none other than the Monopoly Man. "Hello, gentlemen," the Monopoly Man said with a sly grin. "I couldn't help but overhear your predicament. It seems we have a mystery on our hands." Homer squinted at the Monopoly Man. "What are you doing here? Are you involved in this donut heist?" The Monopoly Man chuckled. "Oh, heavens no. But I do have a keen eye for solving mysteries, and I believe I can assist you in cracking this case." With the Monopoly Man's help, Homer and Chief Wiggum began their investigation. They interviewed witnesses, examined the crime scene, and followed every lead. As they delved deeper into the mystery, they uncovered a trail of crumbs. literally, that led them to a secret donut speakeasy hidden beneath the Springfield Mall. Inside, they confronted the mastermind behind the donut theft, none other than Mr. Burns, who had been hoarding the city's donut supply for himself. With Mr. Burns apprehended and the stolen donuts recovered, Homer, Chief Wiggum, and the Monopoly Man celebrated their victory with a feast of donuts. And so, thanks to the unlikely duo of Homer Simpson and the Monopoly Man, justice was served, and the donut lovers across Springfield rejoice once more.
There you go. So the Monopoly Man is taking a break from his dealings. Giving people, their properties, and then also making sure that people pay hefty fines when you put like 5 hotels on Mayfair. And that was a funny story. I've got to admit that was pretty funny.
Indeed, yes. Speaking of Monopoly, I'm kind of now tempted to ask it a question about, what are the sort of best strategies for playing Monopoly?
That's a good idea, yeah. Because isn't there something where you can essentially completely bankrupt someone if you put I think it's if you just put a singular hotel on Mayfair, because the rent that you get off it is just.
Yeah, I think it's like, because from my own understanding,
otherwise it's the highest property in the game.
A lot of like strategy guides often say that there's certain properties or like strings of properties that you should aim for, because statistically, it's they're the most commonly landed on properties. So if you can get them, then it means you can sort of get yourself a steady stream of money and eventually slowly bleed all the other players out.
The red ones, or the orange ones are some pretty good ones. Yeah, maybe ChatGPT's got some strategies for us.
Playing Monopoly effectively involves a combination of strategy, negotiation skills, and luck. Some tips to improve: acquire property. Okay, it just says focus on acquiring as much property as you can. Build houses and hotels, kind of already know that. Be strategic with trades, negotiate trades with other players to complete your colour sets or acquire properties you need. Be mindful of the properties you trade away and ensure you're getting fair value in return. Manage your cash, be strategic with your cash flow. Okay, stay out of jail. Jail can be strategically advantageous in the early game as it prevents you from landing on opponents' properties. However, try to avoid staying in jail for too long.
That's a fair point.
Focus on high rent properties. Aim to acquire properties with the highest rent potential, especially those with multiple houses or hotels. Board spaces like Boardwalk and Park Place. Okay, I think it's looking at the American version of it. Or the orange and red properties tend to have high rent values relative to their cost. Yes, so orange and red, they're good ones. But I'm pretty sure the orange and red ones are also good because statistically people land on them a lot. Use mortgages wisely. Sorry, go on.
No, they're sort of middle ground. The orange and the red ones. I think the orange and red are the red one. The blue ones are quite cheap, and it's like the sort of brownish ones are like the really dirt cheap ones, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then it goes up to like the dark blue, which is like the big ones.
Yeah. It also says stay aware of your opponents, pay attention to their strategies and financial situations, plan for the end game. As the game progresses and fewer properties are available, focus on consolidating your monopolies, upgrading to hotels, maximising rent income. Be flexible, adapt your strategy based on the flow of the game. So there's a bit because you can do some auctioning, can't you? Yeah.
So you can auction off properties and everything. Have you ever completed a game of Monopoly?
No.
No.
Never.
Same here. It's difficult because it does take a long time. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because obviously the main game is you've got to bankrupt the other players.
Yeah.
But no one ever gets to that stage because it's just such a long game.
Yeah.
But it's a fun one.
I'm also tempted to ask it just a more general question about board games, because I think I mentioned to you before that, in my flat, for a long time, the only board game I ever had here was Scrabble, but not recently, but a few weeks ago, I bought a couple of new ones. I got a Ludo set, and then I got one for a board game called Azul, which is like a tile placing one where you score points.
Yeah.
Kind of actually tempted to sort of ask it if it can sort of name or like give me some ideas for sort of good, perhaps less well-known board games for a board game enthusiast or something like that.
I think what can be played.
Please give me some suggestions for less well-known...
Game of Life. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh God, we used to play the free trial. There used to be a free trial that we used to always play at that.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Please give me some suggestions for fun, less well-known board games. Let's see what it tells us. Certainly. Here are some fun and lesser-known board games you might enjoy. Codenames, a social word game where players give one-word clues to help their teammates guess the words on the board while avoiding the opposing team's words. I think I've heard of Codenames before.
I've heard of it vaguely, yeah.
Yeah. Azul, it literally just mentioned the one that I said a moment ago. A tile drafting game where players compete to create beautiful mosaics by strategically selecting and placing tiles.
Is Azul, is it similar to Mahjong? Bloody hell, you didn't need to fart at me there, Andrew. Jeez. Oh, dear.
Did you just hear the motorbike that went past?
Oh, yeah, I heard that. I heard that exhaust from that motorbike.
Yeah.
But, or was it you throwing out a stinker?
Yeah, it could be me for all you know. I could actually have like a motorbike engine stuck up my backside, and that's what you just heard.
So, yeah, Mahjong. My mum used to love Mahjong, which is a very popular tile game in China.
Yeah, I don't really know much about Mahjong, so I can't really say whether it's similar to Azul, but yeah. Seven Wonders Duel, a two-player version of the popular civilization building game where players draft cards to develop their civilizations and compete for victory points. I have heard of Seven Wonders, so it does look interesting. Sushi Go, a fast-paced card drafting game where players collect sets of sushi dishes to score points with adorable artwork and simple rules. King Domino, a tile-laying game where players build their own kingdoms by placing domino-style tiles with different terrain types. Interesting. I've not heard of that one, so I might have to have a look at it on Amazon.
I've not heard that one at all.
Pandemic the Cure, a cooperative dice-based version of the classic Pandemic game where players work together to contain and cure diseases threatening the world.
Yes, it's very. I've heard of the actual video game. One of that.
Sheriff of Nottingham, a bluffing and negotiation game where players take turns being the sheriff, inspecting bags of goods, while other players try to smuggle contraband past them. Ticket to Ride Nordic Countries. I've heard of Ticket to Ride. It's like the one where you're building railways or something. A standalone version of the popular Ticket to Ride series set in the Nordic countries, featuring new gameplay mechanics and a smaller, tighter map. Quacks of Quedlinburg, a push-your-luck game where players compete as quack doctors, brewing potions with unique ingredients, trying to create the most valuable concoctions without their pots exploding. And finally, Terraforming Mars, a strategy game where players compete to terraform the surface of Mars by raising the temperature, creating oceans and building infrastructure, all while managing resources and competing for points. These games offer a diverse range of themes, mechanics and player experiences, making them great choices for game nights with friends and family. Enjoy exploring these lesser-known gems. I may well actually check some of those out.
Yeah, some of those sound really interesting, actually, with the ones. I'm trying to think of some other popular... Oh, do you remember things like... Kaplunk. Oh god, Kaplunk. That was the one where I think you had little plastic like straw things that went through, and you had to take them out, and there was like a ball, and if the ball fell through, you lost. Kaplunk was one. Mousetrap. Oh my god, Mousetrap. It was like the very first sort of game version of a Rube Goldberg machine.
Yeah, that's actually I'd say in reference to Kaplunk. I feel like there's lots of different sort of variations of that sort of type of game where it's like pull like straws or objects out of a thing and don't be the one who triggers something happening. Because I remember as a kid I had one that was called Pop-Up Pirate, which is basically like a little plastic pirate in a barrel, and the barrel had lots of like little cutlasses stuck into it, and you'd pull the cutlasses out, and eventually like someone would pull a cutlass out and it would make the pirate pop out, and if you make the pirate pop out, then basically you lose.
Operation.
Operation,
that's the one. Oh, there's that one that's a sort of prank game called Pie Face.
Oh yes.
you put your face in like a cutout and rest your chin, and you put like a cream pie on the other end, and you have to turn this dial, and eventually it's like Russian roulette. It will eventually just flick up and hit you.
Yeah.
Face.
Well, I think that's been a decent episode of ChatGPT.
Yeah,
Phil.
I think it has indeed.
Yeah, got some good board game suggestions there. I know Azul, for example, has lots of different variations of it, or at least a couple of others. So may check those out. I may look at King Domino and
try some of those.
Seven Wonders stuff and see.
You could try the one that we used to play with the family, Go, which is interesting. That's a world geography game. That's very, very fun. If you do get it, when I come over, we can have a game.
Yeah.
We can have a game of some of the other ones as well.
Right.
Because Go is a very good one. I do like that. Trivial Pursuit. How could we forget that?
Oh, yeah. The only problem with Trivial Pursuit is that sometimes its questions get dated, so you have to keep buying up-to-date
You need to get the
versions.
latest one, yeah. That would be a good one for you to get, but see if you can find like one that's really quite late. You want one that's easily like 2023 or something.
the logo game. That's also decent.
The logo game, yeah, it's a fun one.
Indeed.
So
Sorry.
real knowledge on logos, though. That one,
Yeah.
really got to know which ones you are, and see how well you can actually get them. Because some logos are just unbelievably iconic.
Yeah. Indeed. Sorry, I was about to do an outro.
Actually, just a quick one before we go.
Yeah.
I want to see if ChatGPT can basically see what a logo is. So if you ask it, what does the logo for Subway look like?
Subway.
See if it describes the.
Okay. Let's see if we can describe it. Consists of the word Subway in bold green letters, often accompanied by an arrow motif placed above the letter A. Arrow points diagonally upward and to the right, suggesting forward movement and freshness. This logo is commonly seen on Subway restaurant signage advertisements.
Okay, so that's clever then. It actually does describe what the logos look like, so it does know.
Yeah, I think you'd have to see if you can think of like an obscure one and see if it can get that, because Subway obviously is quite commonly known. Branches all over the place. But yeah. All right. Let's wrap up here then, shall we? Yeah. Facebook and Twitter links are down below, along with the link to my propagandist channel for anyone interested. If you enjoyed, a like is of course always appreciated. But than that, thanks for joining me, Phil.
Thanks for having some fun.
Yeah, indeed. Goodbye, everybody. You uncouth beggar.
Oh, let's let all the gas out. Goodbye, gas. See you later, gas. Gas is on the way. As long as it's not carbon monoxide gas, that's one gas you don't want. That's a horrible gas. But I, Andrew, have done the carbon dioxide there. That's it. Dioxide. Not monoxide, but dioxide. Maybe even trioxide. Is that even a thing? Is there such thing as carbon trioxide? Who knows? Find out next time on Chemistry with Phil and Andrew. Yeah, chemistry. All the wrong chemistry for all the wrong moments. Chemistry.
Are you done?
Chemistry.
Are you done?
Chemistry.
No, he's not,
Chemistry.
clearly.
Chemistry and physics and biology. I'm done now. Quit the fucking thing.
Yes, please, let's end this, otherwise we're going to be here forever. Welcome to Harry on London. John specifically it's interesting to be playing it, actually. I guess that's what it's meant to be. I'm not entirely sure. The big sequel's going to be okay, so rainy day UK. This right. To the bottom, this will be what is basically the fourth chapter of the game, out of 5, I think, if I'm not mistaken. What's there? Actually, it's fair. There's some ways to go, dear. So I've got a copy of the printed off, just in case, you know.